join us on the old Skype-a-rooney here in just a few moments. Maria Espinoza. And I believe
this is Maria.
There is Maria. How are you? It's James Lowe from iHeartRadio and AMFM247.com. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?
Pretty good, actually. We've got Maria Espinoza joining us today here on our big program, Coast to Coast and Border to Border. She's an immigration expert, and she joins us today here on the broadcast. She's also the National Director of the Remembrance Project, and she joins us here on our big program, and we are going to go grab our co-host, Jay Bird Wells, and bring her into the conversation here, and we are chatting with Maria Espinoza today. She is our first guest here on our big program. The Remembrance Project honors and remembers Americans, legal residents, who have been killed by illegal aliens. And today, Maria Espinoza is on our big program. And let's talk a little bit about this appeals court. They basically ruled that there's a Texas ban on sanctuary city policies. It can stand for now, but has this law basically caused racial profiling? Give us your view on this, Maria.
Oh, absolutely not. Now, this is pretty ridiculous what these accusations, and of course that's their big MO. They pull that race card and they think everyone's going to, run away, sit down, hide, and give them acquiesce and give them whatever they want. But, we're talking about these dangerous sanctuary city policies where our legislators absolutely are unwilling to do anything to protect Americans. They would rather go to bat for illegal aliens, people who snuck into the country, who shouldn't be here in the first place, who kill Americans. And as you saw with the Steinle case, a horrible miscarriage of justice there, and that family, and, that has to be a wake-up call for all Americans. And, we have to do everything that we can, just like Donald Trump has said. Our president, our first America First president, I call him, to do everything that we can to secure our nation and place Americans first. It's pretty simple.
We've got Maria Espinoza joining us today. She is a Texas immigration analyst, and she joins us today here on iHeartRadio and also The Mix on Tuesdays. And the website, the remembranceproject.org. It's a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation registered in the state of Texas, honoring and remembering Americans and legal residents who have been killed by illegal aliens. And also check them out on Facebook, Stolen Lives Quilt, as well. And basically a federal appeals court upheld most provisions of a controversial Texas law that prohibits sanctuary city policies in the state. It's a win by Republican Governor Greg Abbott. And break that down for us, Maria.
Well, actually, it's been a long time coming for that, because we're right here on the border. We've seen so many Americans killed, but crimes just, escalating. And Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton a few months ago mentioned that there were over 600,000 crimes committed against Texans between 2010 and 2016. And out of those 600,000 crimes, there were 1,200, so 1,200 people were killed at the hands of an illegal alien. And Governor Abbott is doing all he can to secure our state. And, of course, Texas is a funnel to the rest of the United States. So what we have here is, we went to battle here in the state legislature in May, where Charles Perry, state rep out of the Lubbock area, West Texas, filed the SB 4, Senate Bill 4, and, they fought over it. A good floor fight. Some of the big element that I feel was taken out was the clause where citizens who were victimized could sue the elected official, and that's really important. But it did drop off. However, through this, with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals they did leave, obviously, room for the AG's office to file lawsuits and hold the elected officials in contempt of court should they refuse to cooperate with ICE. And, of course, if they're contempt of court, their departments can be fined, but also they can be jailed until they comply with that court order. So, this is definitely a huge win for Texas, but also all the rest of the United States.
We've got Maria Espinoza with us today, a Texas immigration expert, and she is chatting with us today about the recent news out there in Texas that basically advocates are warning ICE that retaliating for activism. There's these DACA recipients that have been consumed with fear and anxiety, according to California City, basically weighing in and opting out of the sanctuary, fearing deportation under Trump, and immigrants prepare to become untraceable, quote unquote. And Jay has joined us on Skype audio, and Jay, Maria Espinoza was just giving us the details here about this bill referred to as SB 4. It basically establishes civil penalties for local government and law enforcement officials who don't comply with immigration laws and detention requests. It was blocked by a lower court in August, just before it went into effect. She seems to be speaking about some of the different things that you really agree on and champion, my friend.
Well, I mean, Texas has a huge problem with some of the immigrants, like crossing the borders and raping and stealing, and I mean, they're just not very. That's what the immigration laws are supposed to do, is to protect the citizens from some of the criminals coming in.
Is this Maria? Give us your take on this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, James. Your question though was.
Well, the thing is that this is what the law is supposed to be, and there's a lot of folks that aren't agreeing with this across the country.
Oh, of course, yes. I'm sorry, you cut out every now and then.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It's just Skype.
Okay.
It's worthless technology. We're just going to keep going here.
Did
Go
she
ahead.
hear me? Did Maria hear me?
Do you need Jay to?
I did.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The laws are in place for a reason, and the fundamental duties of a government is to, my goodness, enforce its borders. And we're not doing that. And I certainly, you can certainly see that even in California, there are some municipalities, about 4 or 5 now, who have stood up and opted out of that state law in California. So hopefully what Texas is doing, and I'm looking at the reports this morning coming in Reuters. Also, there's a National Sheriff's Association group that we have aligned ourselves with and have assisted in the last several years. They have come out with over 380 sheriffs out of 40 counties standing with our president in securing our nation. So they are certainly in lockstep with being a lawful nation, and support SB 4 that Texas has filed and won. It's still not finished, but you're right. The lower court, and it was actually federal judge Rolando Garcia out of West Texas, who was filed that injunction for the pro-amnesty open borders groups. Were very disappointed in that so many judges have just decided to push their liberal agendas before their oath of office and their duties. And again, I think what is happening right now in the country, James, is that we are seeing these liberal, very left individuals who are in powerful positions place their personal agendas before the betterment of the country, their communities, and their roles as judges or DAs. And it's a good thing. This is going to be a process, James, but we are weeding out those individuals who do not need to be in those positions.
Jay, yeah, go ahead.
Is there links, social links to look up what you're talking about?
On Reuters, if you're talking about the article in Reuters, I would just do a search at Reuters, 380 sheriffs, and I think that article will pop up. And as far as SB4 here in Texas, you can do a quick Google there, Fifth Circuit, SB4, Texas Sanctuary, and that will come up as well. But, we have to do everything that we can to protect the entire nation, but also, our families, and that's what the Remembrance Project is about. We raise awareness of what's taken place at the hands of people who shouldn't be here in the first place. The most egregious of all, as a result of illegal immigration, is a loss of life. And, there is no border, like our families say, the angel moms, dads, and families. There is no border, James and Jane, that our families, as Americans, can cross until we meet our loved ones in heaven. But there's no border, no plane that they can get on to see their families. They're forever separated through no fault of their own, and 100% preventable killings.
You're pretty passionate about this. Is there some kind of an incident that led to your passion?
Incident was, Jane, the fact that my husband, Tim Lee, and I saw something wrong, and we wanted to write it for, honestly, for several years. Personally, I knew that there were things going on, reading some, news or paper or what have you. You just had that feeling, and I just thought someone else was taking care of it. But when the officer Henry Canales in Houston was killed by an illegal alien, they mentioned that another officer had been killed by an illegal alien, and that officer's wife had filed a lawsuit. And that intrigued me because I'm a former legal assistant, and with some research, we realized and for the first time ever heard about sanctuary city policies. And my father was born in Mexico, came here the right way. I'm an American first, and happen to be a fifth-generation Texan mother. We love this country, and I just hate to see it going down the tubes and ruined and destroyed by people who want lawlessness. And that's what we started championing, was enforcing existing laws and bringing attention with our Stolen Lives quilt banners, which are the 6-foot banners you've probably seen on stage with Donald Trump and the families. They're digitally printed. They're like a flag-like material, and they memorialize 3 victims on each 6-foot-long panel, 3 feet tall. It's an everlasting visual memorial, one of the radio show hosts said the other day. And that's so true, because we did not realize that, here we now know there's fake news. We knew it wasn't being reported properly, but never really thought that it was a concerted effort by that left-stream media. So, we were really in place when Donald Trump announced almost 2 years ago now. So, it was all trying to do what's right and preventing these terrible killings and the pain and suffering that the families go through, all 100% preventable. And it's chiseling away at our communities. Every community, I can go down the list and talk about Americans who were killed. We have a 25-year-old young man. What about his dream? He was an entrepreneur here in Houston, and the only child of Dan and Julie Golvach. His name was Spencer Golvach. Employed 9 people. We have a husband and wife. A husband with children and wife, and he had a small construction company. Those jobs Americans won't do, and an illegal alien killed him. And now the people he employed are out of a job. All of these killings all over the country. And remember, these are shattered lives. Some of the parents and family members just cannot get over, they've been suffering silently alone, and they can't get over that their government failed them, terribly failed them and their children. That's where the compassion and empathy should be, is with Americans first, and it isn't. And we're doing all we can. And with your help, James and Jane, to get the information out there and providing a platform is huge for us, because we've never been heard up until Donald Trump ran for president.
We've got
Miss Maria.
Yes.
You have a fan page. Is it Maria Espinoza for America?
Jane, I ran for Congress 2 years ago, and
for the District 7.
So I switched it over. Yes, I ran in District 7, and again, John Culberson, who is my congressman, once again voted for the omnibus. He comes into meetings in some of the groups that we belong to, and does not tell the truth. But so I ran, and really a pressure of trying to find the right person to run, and we just kept we kept looking for people and asking, and finally it was just like, what, you're going to have to do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And that is key, though, because the answer to all this and to resolve the issues that we're in, the situation that we're in, is we have to educate ourselves. We have to recruit people, let our neighbors and family and friends know what is taking place, and point them in the right direction to where they can get the good information. And like listening to your radio station, things like that. But also we have to identify and nurture those potential candidates to run for office, because I can tell you, being in D.C. and having an office in D.C. now, we're looking over the shoulders, and they simply, and as you can see through this omnibus bill and other behaviors, I suppose, of these politicians, they're not going to do what's best for America and Americans. They're going to continue trying to get the one side tries to get the voter block, the other side wants to continue remaining in office and funded by those same pro-amnesty, open border, U.S. Chamber of Commerce organizations and companies that get them reelected. So we're left holding the bag in so many ways, with funding, with our tax dollars, with no security for our families, our communities, and also, we're paying for illegal aliens and looking and watching our country go down the tubes. It's becoming a lawless nation. It's really sad, and we have nowhere to go. This is the greatest country in the world.
Do we have people that need to go to the Remembrance Project?
Yes, please. I'll give you the website, and your listeners will have to type in our website in their URL bar, because major search engines have suppressed the search for our website. And also, a few days ago, one of my friends retweeted my tweet, and they blocked her account, or shut her down for a week, saying it was hate speech or something like that. And we're sharing, yes. So they know, we're small, but I think that we have we're very impactful. And they're really trying to make it difficult for us to raise funds. We have a matching grant we still haven't met. We're a little short. It was a $50,000 grant. That's not huge to probably a lot of organizations, and especially the liberals, but it's huge to us. And I, obviously they know this, and they're trying to suppress it. So our website is www.theremembranceproject.org. theremembranceproject.org. And I appreciate any help and anything, any likes and all on Facebook as well. So I just thank everyone for all their work and their continued work as well.
Definitely, it is a great guest to kick off our Sunday radio broadcast. We are taping this broadcast today because Sunday is, of course, Easter, so we will all be not doing radio on Sunday. So we've got Maria Espinoza with us today. She's a native Texan, national member of the Remembrance Project, which honors and remembers Americans and legal residents who have been killed by illegal aliens. And another topic that I want to get into with Maria here is national security crisis along the border. There's a lot of people that are saying that Trump should use the military to build the wall. Maria, what do you make of this?
Well, I think this: if we thought of the border in our country as our home, and you had individuals coming across your backyard over and over and over, you put signs up, everything you can do, and they're hurting your family, they're bringing drugs, and horrific chaos that all that brings. And so what I guess all your listeners should ask themselves, what would you do? You would do everything humanly possible to make sure that your family and your property was safe, your resources, everything was safe. And you would want to vet those individuals who came into your property and make sure that they were upstanding citizens and appreciated and followed your rules. You know, you want them coming into your front door, not sneaking in the back door. So I think President Donald Trump should do everything he can to secure our nation. And we have been invaded for years. You know, the Obama administration was horrible, and I don't know if you know this, but I personally met with Department of Homeland Security at that time, Secretary Jay Johnson, and also former Attorney General Eric Holder. And I can tell you it was very unsettling to be across that table with them and knowing that they weren't going to do anything. And in fact, Jay Johnson just left the room and did not shake my hand. You know, I gave them a letter and wanted them to know that these families wanted our nation secured, which is his duty. And he evidently didn't like that and told me that he wasn't there to be interrogated by me. So we've been going to bat for every single American here. And also we attend trials, been in murder trials and hearings, and just doing all we can, being where we can. And thank God that we have some wonderful volunteers. But I think that, getting back to your question, is I think that President Donald Trump needs to do everything he can, humanly possible, to secure all of America.
I might be off topic, but after after Mexico lost the war with Texas, didn't they swear up and down that they were going to get Texas back through, like, you know, moving in and conquering it by living?
Well, that's the La Raza movement, and I'll tell you this. Growing up, I remember being a young girl, and there were some Latinos in maybe a shopping center or something, and they came up to my mom and started talking to her about La Raza and in Spanish, and my mom just said, you know, I'm busy, good day, goodbye. And I asked my mom about them, and she said, stay away from those people, mija. They're crazy. You know, so, yes. You know, so basically it was stay away from them, my little girl. They're crazy. And I have. So we stay away from the La Raza, all the LULAC chapters. You know, get over it. You know, it's how far back in history do we want to go to do whatever? You know, they need to go home and worry about their country. It's a mess. It's upside down. You know, the cartels are taken over, and in fact, I don't know if you know this, but the cartels control our entire southern border with Mexico. So one thing I do want to say is that with this in mind, people have to be very, very careful of who you bring into your home and allow near your family and property, because remember, these cartels can reach into the community here of the illegal alien community and living in the States and ask for that favor. They own them. So let's be clear about that, too. And you have painters who are part of cartels who are running a big drug rings, human trafficking. It's all just so its tentacles are into our communities, and we have to be very careful. In fact, I'll tell you one quick terrible story. Way up in Nebraska, a 93-year-old woman was brutally raped, sodomized, and beaten to death. And she survived for about a day and a half by an 18-year-old illegal alien from Mexico. He had been in the country about 6 weeks. And he came through Houston and went up with a roofing company. And he was a roofer in her community. And I can guarantee you, in my opinion, I think he was working up there, looking down. He saw this little old lady. And that one evening, angry that a woman had rejected him out in a party, and he went to that little old lady's house. And this lady was Louise Sullivan, who was an immigrant who came here through Ellis Island, and her family opened up a bakery, Orsi's Bakery, that is still open and operational today. So this is what is taking place. She's a true dreamer. And don't let the fake news try and convince you that these illegal aliens who came here, I don't care if they came here no fault of their own, their parents need to take them back to their country of origin and enter the right way. But these are the dreamers like Louise Sullivan and many millions of other Americans.
Good stuff. We've got Maria Espinoza with us today. She's a Texas immigration analyst, and she joins us live here on our big program. And Maria, before we let you go, mention how we can get a hold of you online, websites, everything, social media, all that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Our website is www.theremembranceproject.org, theremembranceproject.org, and on Facebook it's the Remembrance Project and Stolen Lives Quilt, the Remembrance Project and Stolen Lives Quilt. Our Twitter handle is Stolen Lives QLT. Stolen Lives
awesome.
QLT, and that's short. We will be soon. Hopefully, we'll soon move into a different handle. We're so scrappy. We do this on our own, and we should have just made at the Remembrance Project, but it's so long. I'll let